everyone from Roswell, New Mexico. This is Red Bull Stratos, mission to the edge of space. I'm Robert Hager, coming to you from Mission Control, where very shortly now, parachutist Felix Baumgartner hopes to begin his attempt to set a world record for a skydive, a free fall from a mind-boggling 23 miles high in the stratosphere, during which he also hopes to become the first human being ever to break through the sound barrier while falling. That's the balloon that'll lift him aloft, the biggest balloon ever used for a manned flight. And down the line from that balloon in a pressurized capsule, there it is, the pressurized capsule in which Baumgartner will ride up, suspended below the balloon. He's inside that capsule, and from which he'll make his historic jump. There's Baumgartner inside, a camera inside the capsule, showing him waiting, anticipating. All this expected, too, to have implications for the future safety of space travel. The science and engineering team assembled for the Red Bull Stratos project hopes to collect valuable data from today's jump to help find ways for astronauts, high-altitude pilots, or even one day space tourists to safely bail out in an emergency from altitudes higher than anyone has ever dared think of until now. So we're moments away from launch. And here's what will happen. There you see the balloon over on the left side of the screen, and the long tail, that's 200 yards of tail, a tether, and a parachute that will later be used to parachute the capsule down, attached to the capsule, which was way over on the right-hand side of the screen. And as we move through this, there will be a delicate choreograph here. There's the capsule over on the right-hand side of the screen. You see the little crane. Underneath that is the capsule. It's hard to see, just a tiny dot on the right-hand side of the screen. So as the balloon's tail is released and the bubble starts to rise, the crane carrying the capsule must move directly underneath the rising bubble and wait until the line up to the balloon is taut. And then, only then, release the capsule to rise with the balloon. It's all got to be done very carefully, because you don't want that capsule bumping into the ramp or bumping along the ramp as the bubble rises. That would be a danger to the rider inside the capsule, Felix Baumgartner. In fact, this whole business, the launch, is one of the more delicate portions of the day's event, the jump being by far the most serious. But this particular maneuver has its risks too. Number one, I just described the issue to avoid bumping the capsule along the launch pad. But number two, as the balloon rises, should there be a problem when it's only a few hundred or 1,000 feet off the ramp, there's not enough time for Baumgartner to get that door open and jump, and he couldn't get the parachute open. That is a problem. Now here we go. There's the bubble rising. There's the tail going out. The crane will move forward. So far we've got a good start. Crane moving forward now. Winds are cooperating. String is becoming taut to the balloon above. Taut waiting. Crane on the move now to get that line straight, right underneath the bubble of the balloon, if the crane driver can. It's good so far. Beautiful shot there. There's the release, and there's the applause. A successful rise. Successful rise off the desert floor and the launching ramp here in Roswell, New Mexico. All right, we're still in a risky position here until they get 4,000 feet off the ramp. And the altitude that you're seeing there, we have the background color red to indicate a risk. The altitude that you're seeing, oh, there's the family. There's Felix Baumgartner's mother, weeping at the joy of seeing that successful liftoff. His father is also there, came all the way from Austria. First time ever for this couple out of Europe. Came to see this beautiful launch. The day is off to a good start after a long delay. So I started to mention the altitude that you're looking at. Subtract in your mind 3,600 feet for the altitude of the airfield already. So we want to get from 3,600 up to about 7,600 to see him in the clear. Otherwise, as I say, there's very little space there for Baumgartner to get out of that capsule, get a parachute open and land. So this is a very important few moments. Got another couple thousand feet, and then we'll be in the clear here. This is the first time in history a balloon of this size has been launched with a human being attached. And there, on the left-hand side of the screen, is Joe Kippinger. He's the other side of this story. 84 years old. Kippinger holds the present record for a jump from high altitude. 19 miles up. He jumped back in 1960. So 52 years ago, he set what still stands as the world's record for the highest jump from a balloon. Also fastest free fall at 614 miles an hour, and the longest lasting free fall. Joe's was 4 minutes and 38 seconds. So Joe's been key in this whole effort here. He holds Baumgartner's hand through this whole mission, and he is the one who will be communicating with Baumgartner exclusively. Only Joe Kippinger goes on the radio to talk with Felix Baumgartner to avoid confusion, and this is all at Baumgartner's wish. Let's listen to some of the chatter here. Just about in the clear now of that emergency zone. Those pods you see out in front of the capsule hold cameras. They're the special cameras that look in and give you some of the shots we'll be able to show you. Now I think we've got that 4,000 feet off the ground. So we're pretty much out of the worst of the danger zone. And still rising. There is the Baumgartner family and some friends who came with them from Austria outside of Mission Control looking up.
Doing great, Felix. Doing great. On that cabin, you're doing great. Everything looks green, and you're on your way to space.
How's that for a quote from Joe Kittinger? So the 84-year-old Joe Kippinger, who holds the present record, a key part of this assault on that record.
1,200 foot a minute, something like that, Felix, which is great. Right on track, right on speed, everything looking good.
And there is a shot from one of those camera pods outside the capsule. And looks like Baumgartner may have put, can't tell for sure whether that's a reflection, or may have put a sunscreen over the door. So you see there the vertical track now. He's ascending at more than